everyone, we're going to graph the rational function y equals 3x divided by x plus 3 squared. Alright, this is an introductory video, and what we're going to do is look at the graph of a rational function as two or more branches, and we're going to find the asymptotes, which are lines, and then graph based off that. So, usually your rational functions look something like this, or you can have it this way instead, something like that. But since we have the square, usually those are more like this, or they could be down here, so something like that. So we look at the asymptotes and see what happens. So if we do the vertical asymptote, that's the simplest one because that's the one where you set this to 0 because the vertical asymptote is where x is undefined. And that means when your denominator is 0. So we don't want our denominator to be 0. Solve for x and you get x cannot equal -3. That's your vertical asymptote. Therefore, you get x equals -3. Your horizontal asymptote is more conceptual. So basically what you're doing is you're seeing with x gets larger and larger, what does your y value get close to? What does it approach? What's the approximate value? They're calling it b here. So let's look at what we have. We have y equals 3x divided by, and I'm going to go ahead and expand this, x squared plus 3x plus 9. Now, if I put in a fairly large number here, if I plug in, say, 100, you get 300, and the 100 squared is 10,000. 100 squared is 1,000. Let's change that. Plus 600 plus 9. So 300 divided by 1,609. Now, this number is in the decimals. I think it's point something here. If you plug even a larger number in, so if you keep adding zeros to this, you can see this number is going to get really large because you're squaring this number here. And it's going to get closer and closer to 0. So this approximate value is 0, and that's what they're looking for, the y equals 0. So that's your horizontal asymptote. If you put in 1,000,000, you could even see it better. But that's what the horizontal asymptote is all about. As your x values get larger and larger, what does my y value go to? And that's what the branch of the graph is going to approach those lines. So let's go ahead and draw our asymptotes in. We have x equals -3. This is -3. So graph that. And this. Now it can never cross the vertical asymptote. So we have x equals -3. Now what I want to do is look and see what this graph is doing when x is greater than -3. So on this side of the vertical asymptote, and what's going on the left side of our vertical asymptote, and plug in some points. So if you plug in some points, let's plug in -2. So I'll get -6 divided by -2 plus 3 is 1, is squared is 1. So at -2, we're down at -6. So there's that. Let's plug in 0. If you plug in 0, because it's on this side, you're going to get 0 over 9, which is 0. Now what's going to happen with this one, this might be the first time you know this, we cannot cross the vertical asymptote but we can cross the horizontal asymptote. So this is going to cross, and let's plug in another number, let's say 3. If I plug in 3, I get 9 divided by 3 plus 3 is 6 squared, 36. So that's going to equal 1/4. So when I plug in 3, it's going to be 1/4. So it's seeing it's crossing a horizontal asymptote. It can cross it. So there's that. That's that side. All right. Now let's look and see what's going on the left side of x equals -3. So let's plug in -4. If I plug in -4, I'm going to get -12. -4 plus 3 is going to be -1 squared. That's 1. So at -4, we're at -12. So that's way down in here. So I'll just kind of put it down there. So I don't have room. So let's plug in -5. I get -15. -5 plus 3 is -2 squared is 4. So that's almost to -4. It's -1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be about right there. So this is going to look like this. It's going to come around this way into here. If you want, we can plug in one more value. Let's say -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10. If I plug in -10, get -30 divided by -10 plus 3 is -7 squared is 49. So that's still less, it's kind of close to 0, so it's going to go like this. And so there's your graph. Looks something like this. This is probably getting closer down here because I didn't have a -12. It can never cross the x equals -3, but in this case it did cross our horizontal asymptote. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.